So this is an exciting time. This is a moment that we have been anticipating for a couple of weeks. I am here with Mr. Alphonza Scott Jr. He is an author, he is a speaker, he is an educator, and he is going to share with us today all the things that he has been working on, and one of his most most proud things that he has created, which is a book, and he is going to share that with us today and talk about it today. So, yes. Mr. Alphonza Scott Jr., like, who are you? What are your hobbies? Where are you from? Where did you grow up? You know, how did you get here?
Okay, well, I am originally from Dayton, Ohio, and that's where I kind of grew up and did my, primary education. I've got two siblings. Enjoyed my childhood growing up. I was a sports fanatic. Sports was my favorite pastime. And, I got an opportunity to further my schooling in Birmingham, Alabama at Miles College. And that kind of spurned the book. And I'm proud of it. I'm extremely excited about it. And just looking forward to seeing where God is going to take it, obviously.
That is amazing.
Now, you mentioned, what was the name of the school?
It's Miles College.
Miles College.
In Birmingham, Alabama, yes.
Is that an HBCU?
It is.
Okay,
awesome. It is.
Awesome. So,
was it on Miles College that kind of gave you the inspiration for this?
Yes, absolutely.
Tell me about that.
Well, I didn't look like I was going to even get a chance to go to college. Like I said, I was an athlete and I had scholarship aspirations, but because of a bone disease that developed when I was younger, it prevented me from playing ball in school. So there went my scholarship aspirations. What I decided to do was join the military. And I did that. And then midway through basic training, because of the same injury, I was sent home. So I was a little dejected, a little disappointed when I came home and started working at a temporary service. Didn't know what I was going to do. But in the back of my mind, I still wanted to go to school. So I started working at a temporary agency, and on my way home, a lot of times I would stop by the downtown library and I would start just researching schools. And at that time, and I hope I'm not telling my age, but at that time we didn't have Google and all that. So I actually had to jot down the information and I had to send letters. So I would send letters telling them my story and letting them know that, we didn't have much money, but that they gave me an opportunity to come. I would work extremely hard, and I must have sent out 45 to 50 letters with no response at all. So, of course, you can imagine, how disappointed I were at the time, and I was kind of kicking around and moping around. And I came home from work one evening, and my mother told me, she said, "Scott, you got some mail on the kitchen table." So I went in. I was like, who would send me mail? This was well after I had sent the letters and didn't get any response. So I wasn't even expecting anything. So I walk in the kitchen, and on the table, there's a huge manila envelope. And it happened to be from one of the schools that I sent a letter to. And that was the school that I were accepted into and that I attended. And that's kind of how the story started to really evolve.
Okay. So your experience at Miles College was the thing that made you say, I have got to put this into a book, write a book about HBCU experiences, so other people will know, that a little persistence and hard work will go a long way. Is that kind of what happened?
Yeah, and it wasn't immediate.
Okay.
It was well after I had graduated, and I was actually living out in Dallas, Texas, and I was working at IBM.
Mm-hmm.
And one day, a feeling of gratitude came over me as I was in the office, and I said, little old me from humble beginnings that barely got an opportunity to go to school. Here I am working at one of the biggest, most successful companies in the world. And it humbled me so, and I was so grateful that I started penning a letter. And the letter was written anonymously to my school, basically thanking the administrators and the professors for allowing someone like me to come and for them to blanket me with the support and with the love. It was just special. And because I adored them so and I appreciated them so, I sent the letter back. And the book wasn't started immediately, but a couple of years later, I overheard a young lady and her mother talking about college choices, and the young lady admitted that she was once upon a time interested in HBCUs, but because of all the rhetoric and all the negativity that surrounded HBCUs at the time, she decided not to even pursue it. So me listening in, it hurt me so bad. I wanted to intervene. I didn't. But I was hoping that the mother would kind of refute and correct. And she admitted that she heard a lot of the same rumors and unsubstantiated chatter that was kind of circulating. So it's a little disappointing, but I knew then that the story needed to be told. And I felt who better to give it a voice than those of us that had the opportunity to attend. And that's when We've Got Something to Talk About was birthed.
Okay. So, yeah.
So We Got Something to Talk About was birthed, and what made you decide to come up with that title?
Because the book, it's just not a book that follows the story of a single student at his or her particular university, but it was a collaborative effort of attendees from all different backgrounds, all different eras, all different cities, all different schools. So when God gave me the title, We've Got Something to Talk About, I said, perfect.
Nice. So how did you balance keeping all of the stories factual and with pride and part of the legacy to pull it all together? Where did you visit different HBCUs? Yes. Okay. Tell me about that.
I visited different HBCUs, and I must have talked to hundreds upon hundreds of HBCU attendee graduates from all over the country, in all parts of the country. I traveled, I did personal interviews, telephone interviews, and I worked on the project for over a decade, just compiling all the interviews and all the content and the information. And a lot of those testimonials and stories from former graduates were absolutely epic. And, a lot of times your allergies would start acting up, when you listen to a lot of those stories. I've got testimonials and stories from people that all the way back from the mid 1940s, wow, 50s, 60s, all the way up to present day. And to listen to a lot of those stories of individuals that went to our schools back in the 1940s and 50s, you didn't move a muscle. You were just captivated by the stories, and you just realize, like, wow, we take so much for granted present day, but they were going to school when it was dangerous and when it could have cost them not only their safety, but in some instances, it could have cost them their lives, but they made those sacrifices.
Yeah. I attended a HBCU briefly, Oakwood University in Huntsville, Alabama.
Yeah.
And I have to admit that when you step onto an HBCU campus, it is a different energy. It is something that you can't Tall, you do have to experience. So I do agree with you. Putting those stories into a book is one thing, and it is an amazing thing. That has been an amazing work. But for those who are listening, who will be listening to this, if you get the opportunity to visit a HBCU, it is an unforgettable experience.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So tell me, in your words, for folks who have not experienced an HBCU, what do you want them to feel after reading your book?
I want them to feel, obviously, the love, the support, and that was the thing to me that stuck out, because as I talked to hundreds, the thing that was more reoccurring than any other thing that people appreciated was that the raised by the village mentality, and how those instructors, it didn't matter where you were from, what you were majoring in, whether you had little, whether you had much, they wrapped their arms around us and poured into us. And it was absolutely special. Some of the things that we got to see and experience, we got to experience it from a first person perspective because we got to live it. And a lot of the things that we got to live were just things that still make me smile and still make me thank God today, that he would allow us to matriculate through our schools and to form those kind of friendships and relationships that are still special today.
Yes. Agree. I still have some very close friendships from Oakwood University. And I am telling my age as well.
When I attended there in the 80s. So yeah, I get that. I totally get that. I think and I feel that having this conversation adds to a bigger conversation, because the HBCU experience does not just stay on campus. It goes beyond campus. It goes through families, through generations. So how do you see your book adding to the bigger conversation, especially for Black and brown people?
Oh, it's going to be an eye-opener and very, very much an inspirational read, because I think people, they know and they've seen the bands and the football teams and the fraternities and sororities, but until they start really delving into the book and allowing these pages to jump out of this book and into their heart, they don't really know and appreciate the relationships and the things that it added at a time that we were just, innocent, vulnerable college kids. But how it gave us so much to aim for and so much to look at was absolutely, earth moving. And one of the things that I realized as I talked to those around the country, some older, some younger, we all had that gratefulness and that feeling to say, thank you for allowing us to experience what we did. And I think people will really appreciate the book, because some will say, I knew about this and I knew about that, but I didn't know it went down like that on HBCU campuses. And I think they're in for a treat.
Oh yeah, I agree with you. Totally, 100%. Now, as you're writing this book, were there some voices, some mentors, or even some people who have previously written books that influenced you to help shape this story along the way?
Yes, and they're all in here. They were my heroes.
Okay.
And
any famous people?
There have been books depicted and based on famous people, but what I wanted to capture and accentuate was the common man and the common woman, the everyday, the everyday person that just put in the work and that thank God for them having the opportunity to go to an HBCU. And that's what I wanted to capture. I didn't want to get into the personalities and, you know, their history, but I just wanted to hear from Cheryl, class of 1962, James, class of 1978, and, you know, Troy, class of 2012. So it was a variety of people from different backgrounds, different schools, different walks of life, and it blessed my life.
Absolutely amazing. I'm sure reading the book will, you know, bless other people's lives as well. So where can people find the book?
You can find it on my private platform, my website. It's We've Got Something to Talk About, all lowercase, no spaces. Okay. So We've Got Something to Talk About.com.
I will make sure I include that in our show notes, in our, you know,
yes,
when we get ready to go ahead and share this entire concept with everybody. So
yes.
Last two questions before we wrap it up. Is it a particular memory in writing this book that stands out in your mind? I mean, it's at the top of mind that had left such an impact or hit you in such a positive and impactful way with writing the book?
There was. When I hit campus, didn't know a soul. And I'm in awe just looking at the campus and the beauty and the splendor of it, getting a chance to meet and greet people from all over the world. And I'll never forget, we had in our English 101 class, there were too many people that were registered for it. So unbeknownst to us at the time, there were going to be another English 101 class created. So they asked us all to write an essay, like a 5 or 6 page essay, and they gave us topics, and they were going to divide the class based on the results of that. So I'll never forget, I wrote my essay, and I came to class, and when our essays were passed back out to us, I had a note on the bottom of mine said, would you mind having a quick conversation after class? So at that point, I said, man, I hadn't even been here a good week and I'm already in trouble, and didn't know what it was about. So after class, the instructor came up to me and he said, "Where are you from?" And I told him I'm, Dayton, Ohio. And he asked me a couple of the same questions that you asked. What led you here and how'd you get here? And I told him. He said, "Well, the reason I asked you to stay after class a bit is because I wanted to compliment you." And he said, "You write real well." He said that, I reviewed your essay, and it was grammatically flawless, and the content was even more impressive. And I'm like, wow, I'm looking around for cameras now. I'm like, this has got to be I've always been a pretty good student, but never to garner that kind of attention. And he said, "Well, normally we don't do this, but this time we're going to make an exception." He said, "First of all, I want you to join the advanced 101 English class. And then secondly, I'd like you to consider being a tutor for the English and the literary department." And oh, wow. I could not believe it. But I tell you what, that gave me a bolt of confidence. And I took that, ran with it. I was so excited about it. I shared it with my mother. And I made sure from that day on that when I went to class, everything was airtight, everything was on point. And that was just the beginning of a special ride. And it had a carryover effect. It did a lot to my confidence, and it really helped me get off to a good start. And I was able to, graduate with honors and do some special things. And it all stemmed from that, in my opinion.
That is amazing. That is an amazing spirit-led story.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Excuse me. So what's next for you? Are you looking to write another book? Excuse me. Are you thinking about writing on something different? What's next? Community speaking? Anything like that?
I am not looking to write another book. I'm just going to have a great time focusing on we've got something to talk about. You all right?
Okay. Yes. Keep going.
Okay. Yeah. And I'm just going to focus on we've got something to talk about. I'm excited to market it. The book is doing extremely well nationally. Doors are opening. I've got the book in some nonprofit organizations as curriculum reads. It's growing, and now I'm really focusing on growing the brand locally. So we're doing symposiums, book summits, speaker programs, seminars all over the place. So keep your cup to the door. We've got a lot going on, and I'm extremely proud and excited about it.
I am excited to have met you and have made your acquaintance. It has been an absolutely delightful conversation.
Yes, ma'am.
Before we go, tell everybody where we can find you on social media, different platforms, all of that.
Okay, you can find me on Facebook, Alfonso Scott, and we've got something to talk about. You can put either of those in, my name or the title of the book. Again, no spaces, all smaller font. And then also the book's website is we've got something to talk about.com. Again, all lowercase, no spaces. You can chime in the website and it'll give you a little synopsis of the book, how the book came to be, and what it is. And then if you decide to order, if you place an order, the book will show up on your doorstep 3 or 4 days later.
All right. Amazing. I love that. I love that. I love that. Any final thoughts before we end up our conversation for today?
Yeah, I'd like to read. Now, this is, quickly, this is the letter that I shared with you that I wrote, and this is what kind of started. I'm going to read it if it's okay.
Okay, it is okay.
It says, Dear Black Institution of Higher Learning, thank you for being the great educational giant you are. When I arrived here years ago with little to no ideal of what I wanted to become, you took me under your wing while instilling in me the very things to become successful. You recognized something special in me when some, including me, couldn't see beyond mediocrity and weren't interested in looking too far beyond that. You, along with several dedicated professionals, would not let the lack of effort or resources become dream dimmers or prevent potential from being discovered. Thank you for seeing me. Even when pointing out my deficiencies, you didn't just dwell on them, but complimented and encouraged my abilities. Your existence is so precious and important for people like me who need what you offer. You dampen my appetite, so I now realize if I can dream it, I can be it. Never had I witnessed or experienced such dedication, and although unfairly criticized and misrepresented at times, you have always been committed to the growth and success of every single student to enter and exit through your doors. As a proud graduate saturated with special memories and experiences, I depart with more than a degree. I now have the vision to see it while owning the skills and confidence to seize it. Thank you, Black colleges. Sincerely, all of us.
Thank you. I muted myself by accident. I love that. That letter needs to be on display in somebody's college, in some frame. So that's absolutely heartfelt. It is such a pointed letter. What an amazing writer. So this is, are you sure this is your only book that you're going to put?
Yeah, there's no plans right now. I'm just gonna have
Okay.
fun promoting it and marketing.
Okay.
So it's doing
Very
well,
well.
and I'm excited.
Awesome. Well, it has been an amazing experience
Yes,
with you
likewise.
today. And I look forward to more conversations. I look forward to seeing what you're going to do next, how you will be
Yes.
involved in the community, all of that. So I will be keeping my eyes on you.
All right. Well, thank
All
you so
right.
much for the invite. I really appreciate it.